Greetings, and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. It's the end of this night shift week. It's the night we do a thing we call Real Talk, also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show. I want to say big ups to each and every one of you locked in right now, those on TuneIn Radio on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew and all the affiliates around the globe. Big ups to you. Of course, I want to say big ups to those who have it locked on PEMGTV.com and right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. I couldn't do it without you. You have my word. I wouldn't even try. Kicking it up with a little Enzo. Haven't played this one in a little while.
I can tell that you love me.
It's called Come Over.
By the way you're looking at me, girl, the feeling is mutual. 'Cause I love you the same way, and I love you so much. I don't care what people say, it's complicated. 'Cause you got your man, girl. I just know that I want you, same way you want me. Baby girl, come over, wanna be your lover. Got some things to show you, got some things to show you. Wanna give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, I could be you, everything you want. I could be you, I could be you, I could be you. Tonight I will forgive you of everything you've done, yeah, in your past. Tonight I'll be your preacher, baby. You give me your undivided, and I'll relieve all your stress, baby, with my forgiveness, my forgiveness. I just wanna give you everything that you've been searching for, baby. All you gotta do, baby girl, come over, wanna be your lover. Got some things to show you, got some things to show you. Wanna give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, I could be you, everything you want. I could be you.
Hey Marlon, good evening. How you doing, bro? Wicked show as usual.
I know how to treat you right. Just tell me yes, tell me yeah. I'll be all you want. Girl, just come on over, spend the night. It'll be the best, be the best. All you gotta do, baby, just come
I
over.
want to say thanks to Paul C Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show.
I can give you pleasure, I can give you pleasure. I will be your savior.
Paul C Media Group can do everything that you see right here on kevinstew.com.
Give your sin,
They can host your site.
forgive.
They can provide you with streaming services.
Baby girl, come
They can create the website for you.
I'll be your lover.
Give them a call, 754-999-6020,
Some things to show you, but I give
or email them, or visit the site at paulcmg.com.
I could be you, I could be you, everything you want. I could be you, I could be you, I could be you, I could be you.
Greetings 343. Why don't you just come over? Does that work anymore? You know, somebody reaching out and saying, hey, you know, why don't you come over? And I said, I noticed I didn't say a guy calling up a woman or a woman calling up a guy and saying, I said somebody reaching out and just saying, hey, why don't you come over? And let's before we get ourselves or get ahead of ourselves, when I say come over, it is not that you should expect that any particular thing is going to happen unless that is something that you've talked about. That is something that you have planned possibly. That come over could just be because you're good company and the invited is good company and the person doing the inviting is also good company. It doesn't mean that you want to hop on the good foot and do the bad thing, or the bad foot and do the good thing, whichever one, or whatever floats your boat. But it at the end of the day, it's not about people just getting together and making out or getting together and having sex or anything like that. It's a whole lot more. It's let's connect. Although that might be a little bit tricky today. Yeah, Marlon. With Corona going around, there's no coming over right now. Nobody is inviting Corona to come over. In fact, Corona is being put on timeout, and she needs to go sit in a corner somewhere. Yeah, Marlon, you're so very right. That yeah, not happening. Not cool. Not happening. But the whole inviting people over thing is on pause right now. Now, navigating the modern dating world can actually be one that is either filled with disappointment or one that is so blissful it leads to that. I was going to say happily ever after, but happily ever after leads to the question, after what? It leads to a long period of happiness. So it's going to be blissful or blistered. One out of the two. But there's some bliss inside there. Sadly, for a lot of people, it is more often the disappointment. From dating fatigue to the sting of rejection. Even the most confident daters are not immune to the negative effects of dating on psychological and emotional well-being. And oftentimes those things are overlooked. We don't think about the psyche of the individual who is doing the dating. We don't think about their emotional well-being. We just say, all right, it's two individuals and one might like the other and the other may not like in return. So there isn't a second date. And the one who is less invested in the date will just go, oh, okay, on to the next one. And the one that was really looking forward to something is going back to the drawing board stressed. Now, for those who struggle with their self-worth, when it comes to that rejection bit, those effects can be pretty harmful. According to social researchers, online dating has produced some of the most profound and widespread changes to traditional courtship that have been seen in decades. They have totally restructured the whole dating game. Namely, its effects on fundamental interpersonal process. And in an increasingly commoditized dating landscape, these changing are they're not always for the better. According to online dating coach and founder of profilehelper.com, Eric Resnick, swipe apps have trained the newest generation of single adults to look at online dating as more of a video game than a viable way to make a real connection. Here is the issue that I have with that. If it is seen like a video game, then people are going to be treated like toys, like video game pieces. So you run the risk of having people become, I guess you could say, that cold, that heartless, and move on to the next, like, whatever. It's last year's toy that is being replaced by this year's toy, kind of a deal. We're in the process of redefining how humans communicate and potentially how we fall in love, says Venus Nicolino, aka Dr. V, a relationship expert and author of Bad Advice: How to Survive and Thrive in an Age of Bull-ish. She says, now, when we spend the majority of our courting process using electronic communication, such as text, all we're doing is projecting our insecurities onto the screen. We are basically having a relationship with the most insecure parts of ourselves. And I don't think I've ever heard it put a better way. Think about it. How connected do you get from reading a text? That connection that you're finding, unless you really know the person that is sending you that text, that connection is a connection with yourself. Because you are interpreting how those words are being put into text. You're not hearing inflections. You're not seeing expressions. You're not reading body language. Facial expressions is what I was referring to. So you are making assumptions. Now, Trish McDermott is a dating coach and a founding team member of Match.com. And as one of the inventors of online dating, she says, sometimes I feel like I broke dating. Our goals were lofty, building, match. And the online dating industry back in 1995, we were going to bring more love to the planet. But even from the early days, I cautioned the singles not to hide behind the tech we were introducing, to behave in ways they would not behave in the real world. And I worried that so much romantic opportunity would require some maturity for singles to manage respectfully. Sometimes it is tough to realize that we really did change the way the world found love. But the new path may not be a better one for many. What we see now is a new language to describe behaviors that abundant romantic opportunity has created. That is, I can see where they would have been excited about it in the beginning. And I can see now where they'll be broken about what they have created. From good intentions come bad end results. Someone I know would say, they would often say, they were told that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. online dating for some has become hell, though it was created with the intent of making a faster connection. So speed dating wasn't fast enough. Now because we are a society of instanters. We want everything instantly. So we want the instant coffee, we want the instant shape, we want the instant eyebrows, we want the instant whatever, the instant long hair, we want the instant nails, we want instant everything. Gone are the days when we would take our time to develop something. And even listening to myself saying that, I feel like I've become my uncles and my aunts and my parents. Because these are the things that when I was growing up, the adults would say. And I guess I have fallen into the category of the adults now. Jeez. Don't tell my friends that I said that. But it's the reality of it all. Because dating now is not like it. I remember meeting somebody and exchanging numbers, and then waiting to get home to within a certain time frame to be able to dial that number and then talk to the person that I got the number from on the other line. You would look forward to doing that. No, you exchange numbers and you text. So why then did you exchange the numbers? And you live in the same geographical community, on a wider community. So let's say you live in the same city, and you can make arrangements to meet up. And if it's even just to meet up to chit chat for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, you have the ability to make arrangements to meet up. But instead, you're texting. And when you eventually meet up, it's like, first of all, you had to send a picture to remind the person what you look like. And you then re-establish a connection when you meet. Because you're texting, you're not calling, you're texting. All right, so that seems to be the new way. I even tell my children, listen, it's all good and well. You can shoot me a text. We need to talk every now and then too. We need to have that verbal connection, so we can hear each other's voices and we can hear tones. Because it seems more and more that we're becoming more disconnected. And even now, with this pandemic on hand, we've become even more disconnected because we can't even greet each other with a fist bump anymore. Well, there's still some kind of connection when you touch shoes, but we're greeting each other from further away. So we can only wonder what kind of connection we're really making. But we're social beings. So physical touch is a big part of how we interact. Now, to get into science a little bit, we need that physical touch in order to build our immunity. I remember the first time I had a meal at an authentic Ethiopian restaurant. prior to me getting my meal, I saw a group eating. And I was wondering, what is going on over there? Because they had plates, but I didn't see any utensils. There were no knives and forks and spoons, and everybody was eating with their hands. And I was like, okay, what is going on here? But it makes sense. Because if you're going to sit and break bread with someone, it is really an intimate thing. And they managed to maintain the authenticity of the Ethiopian community, where you sit and everybody eat from the same pot and they eat with their hands, which means you need to be clean. Because if you have something, you're sharing it with that other member of that group or the other members of that group. So either everybody is going to get sick or everybody's going to develop immunity. Either way, that is some kind of bond. And I saw that and I was like, that is love. And it was like a whole bulb went off. And not just any old little ding bulb. We're talking like floodlight. And it just opened up synapses and connected synapses, and different thoughts started going through my head, and I saw things differently. What we do now in this modern dating that all happens electronically, there's none of that happening. That real connection. So, with this comes a new language. And this new language to which McDermott refers describes some of the toxic dating behaviors that have emerged as a result of online dating. Things like ghosting. Ever heard of that? That is when you're disappearing from the life of someone you've been dating. Ghosting. Then there is swiping left, which is dismissing someone as a romantic opportunity in less than the time it takes to sneeze. Gone. Swoop. Next. Then there's cookie jarring. This is keeping someone as a backup. In case it does not work out with your current partner, you have someone to fall back on. Happened dating expert Eugenie Legendry says, if you are seeing someone and you want to make yourself feel a bit more secure, you soak up the attention from a potential love interest. It is an insecurity that stems from the desire to feel safe and wanted. Huh. Is it really though? I could turn that and twist that in so many different ways. But we're gonna go on because we have quite a bit of information to get through tonight. Then there's orbiting. I have never heard of this one. Orbiting is when somebody is not quite part of your life, but make sure to keep themselves relevant to you by popping up on your social media every now and then, as an example. Orbiting. Who knew? Then there's breadcrumbing. That's sending sporadic but non-committal messages as a way of keeping a dating prospect on hold. Just when you're ready to leave, they throw you another one. These offenders prey on your hope. They keep you tethered, so to speak. Then there's benching. Put me in the game, coach. Similar to breadcrumbing and cookie jarring, you have benching. And this is keeping someone on the sidelines until further notice. Just in case you might want to connect down the road. You just have one in the pocket. I'm unfamiliar with these terms. I really am. But that is how dating goes in modern times. And whether selecting a life partner or a dinner entree, having too many available options could actually be detrimental. You know, they always say too much of one thing is good for nothing. It could be detrimental. And I don't know what your experiences have been like. I'd love to know what some of you guys' experiences have been. 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can Skype at kevin.stew is my Skype handle. Connect with me that way. You can jump into the stew pot on kevinstew.com, and I do encourage you to jump on. It's where we keep things bubbling and interactive. Other sites, they call it the chat room. We're fancy over here, we call it the stew pot. See, here it is. These terms are new to me, but I see the behaviors. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with the terms, but the behaviors, yeah, we can kind of identify with those. We can see those. And time and time again, we come across these little things, and we just have to scratch our heads and wonder, what's really going on here? Is this what we really want for our children to grow up in? Is this how we want to teach our children to connect? Because the connection is spotty at best. Using modern jargon, since everybody has Wi-Fi and everybody knows what signal is like. The connection is spotty at best. So, what kind of future do you think our grandchildren will have? For those who are in their 30s, that don't have children yet or have young children, 30s and 40s, what do you think your grandchildren, dating in your grandchildren time, will be like? Things that make you go, Right? We're going to take a quick little break. Leave you to think about that a little bit. When we come back, we talk some more. Looking at the modern dating. And we have quite a bit more information to touch on too. So grab your notepads, grab your friends, and stick around. Those who are not in as yet, tell them they're missing out. This is the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Real Talk Wednesday, also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show. We'll be right back.
Quality Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This non-profit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today.
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey yo, this is Caraman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
Why not production?
Yeah. Black love is bigger than you, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than him, it's bigger than she. Black love is all about unity. It's us. Black love, it's we. Hey. So make we talk for a second about this. Cause every goddess when me know want this. Fi in love, peaceful and bliss. A black love full of chocolate kiss. Black moments make we reminisce. Light your spliff if you drink, take a sip. Tonight sex enough we target. Cause I've got something better. I swear to God I do. I've got a man that loves me and reads to me too. Him take me on a level, nothing left to do but confess that I love him, and that's the truth. He reads to me, he teaches me, that pleases me. Black love so sweet, he lays with me and plays with me, all day with me. Black love in me. Oh, are we connected through time and space? The love strong, stronger than the black race. A pure magic anytime we embrace. Me love your king, I will never embrace. The man go deep, deep in the bookcase. Stroke me body plus me mental space. Spiritually I have to elevate. Cause I've got something better. I swear to God I do. I've got a man that loves me and reads to me too. Him take me on a level, nothing left to do, but confess that I love him, and that's the truth. He reads to me, he teaches me, that pleases me. Black love so sweet.
Want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you in Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. Just give her a call. 954-655-9000. Or drop her an email at thealater@att.net.
That's the truth. He reads to me, he teaches.
Go ahead, connect with her, make your arrangements.
Black love so sweet.
You won't necessarily get through as a new client right now, but you can secure your spot.
With me, black love indeed.
Welcome back to the show. In the background, the sound of Caramanti. A track called Black Love.
Just fight them a fight. Before long, one of them take flight. Quit the team, cause the team never tight. Me heart goes out, that's not right, but not enough for me black life. Hey, yeah, a Caramanti. Black love, family.
I read the words of an author today, an author that has been on the night shift before. He goes by the name C.L. Brown. And it's along the lines of, in fact, let me not paraphrase, let me find it. Because I read this today and I was like, yo, only C.L. Let me find it here. Because and I just came across it earlier, and social media is something else, you know. It just disappears as quickly as you come across it. Let me find it here. In the meantime, thank you guys for coming in, for tuning in, for joining us. It's the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew, and it's Real Talk Wednesday, aka Marlon's favorite night shift show. Encouraging you guys to tell somebody to come on in and share. And listen, if nothing else, this is a judgment-free zone. So if you have an opinion, don't be afraid. Share it. Kojo, how are you doing, bro? It's been a minute. Welcome to the night shift. So CL wrote in a post, the zombie apocalypse is here. Time for lovers to quarantine themselves, act like the dead, and eat each other. And I was like, yo, only CL. But think about it. The moment you sit with someone and you engage in that dialogue, you remember Reader's Digest? You ate it all up. That's what I get from that. You can go ahead and apply the literal reading. That's fine. But take it a step further. Go deeper. When you ingest something, when you eat something, it becomes a part of you. That moment when you sit with someone and you're in dialogue and you connect in a real way, that's phenomenal. And digitally, that digital love thing, it doesn't quite work the same. Because you hit delete and all that is gone. When you're in the presence of someone and you connect that way, it takes quite a bit to get rid of that. because now that is in your memory. In his book, Paradox of Choice, Why More is Less, psychologist Barry Schwartz explains how having an abundance of choices in any realm can increase levels of anxiety and depression. Not to mention wasted time. At some point, Schwartz writes, choice no longer liberates, but debilitates. People have access to more options than ever. So much so that a single option feels disposable. That's what author and CEO of Plum Dating and author of The Love Gap, Jenna Birch, says. And she goes on to say, this often leaves people second guessing themselves and wondering if they could have done better. We place a higher value on things we have to work for, or the things we take a risk to get. You know, that they say it's not worth having if it's not worth fighting for. So there's plenty of fish in the sea. Yeah, we know. But if it is an authentic connection you're seeking, you'll eventually have to venture outside of the shallow waters. And that can be scary. Because out in the deep are creatures that we don't know about. In a culture of dispensability, where relationships are recycled and dates ordered from a menu of options, it is easy to become disillusioned with the whole process. And despite this, romantic opportunities online are numerous. Given the sheer number of marriages and children that have been produced through online dating, it is hard to argue that it is not a viable source of connecting with someone. So, if you are armed with knowledge, realistic expectations, and most importantly, a heavy dose of self-compassion, it is possible, quite possible, to avoid or minimize at best some of the pitfalls and to date smarter without compromising your self-esteem and emotional well-being. It can be done. I wouldn't recommend that everybody try it, or maybe we should recommend that everybody try it, because nothing beats a trial but a failure, right? So now you are off on the adventure to meet someone and you're doing the online dating thing. You have to ask the question, are there rules of attraction when it comes to connecting, when it comes to finding your match? Are there rules of engagement or rules of attraction? And you really have to think about it. Now, there's a psychologist that wrote an article about dating. And they go by the name of Viren Swami. Now, they start off by saying, some time ago I found myself single again and decided to get back into the world of dating. One thing that struck me very early on in my forays was that everyone had an opinion about what worked in terms of dating. But too often those opinions were based on anecdotes, assumptions about human behavior that I knew to be wrong. In fact, pure misogyny. As a psychologist who studied attraction, he goes on to say, I felt that science could offer a better understanding of romantic attraction than all the self-help experts, pick-up artists, and agony aunts in the world. And so the research began, looking into science and how we form relationships through science. And one of the things that was learned very quickly was that there are no laws of attraction, so to speak. No guarantees of success in dating, no foolproof methods or strategies for getting someone to date you. Human psychology is too complex to reduce to rules or laws of attraction. But that's not the same as saying there's nothing to be gained from understanding the process involved in attraction. Understanding the science of attraction can guarantee you a date, but it can point the way towards it cannot actually guarantee you a date, but it can point you towards forming mutually benefiting relationships with other people. So first thing to look at is location. You know, they say location, location, location. Yeah, it works with dating too. What does this science of attraction tell us? Well, it turns out that one of the strongest predictors of whether any two people will form a relationship is sheer physical proximity. About a half of romantic relationships are formed between people who live relatively near to each other. And the greater the geographical distance between two people, the less likely they are to get together. Of course, online dating and dating apps have changed where we meet our future partners. While most 20th century couplings were either formed in workplaces and colleges or through friends and families, online dating sites and dating apps are fast becoming the most common way of meeting partners and now account for about 20% of heterosexual couplings and more than 2/3 of same-sex couplings, all in the US. But even online, geography continues to have an influence. Now, the point of online dating is eventually to get to meet someone offline, right? So you'd wonder why it is so prevalent. And it costs more time and money to meet someone who lives further away. Proximity matters because it increases the chances people will interact and come to feel part of the same social unit. Again, that getting together, that real connection, that physical connection, hearing the tones and watching the body language and seeing the facial expressions. Secondly, appearance matters. People perceived to be physically attractive get asked out on dates more often and receive more messages on online dating sites. Really? When was the last time I got asked out? I'm playing. I'll get into trouble for that one. I was asked out recently. They even have sex more often. Those that live in closer proximity apparently have more orgasms during sex also. I didn't know proximity played a part in that. But physical attractiveness, not proximity, but attractiveness. That's where we're at, right? The physical, yeah. The appearance. But physical attractiveness matters most in the absence of social interaction. Once social interaction takes place, other traits come into their own. It turns out that both men and women value traits such as kindness, warmth, a good sense of humor, and understanding in potential partners. In other words, we prefer people we perceive as nice. And being nice can even make a person seem more physically attractive. Yeah, just because they're nice. So, because they're nice and they're loving, then you'll be blinded to certain things, right? So now we get to the love is blind part. Sometimes online dating can be dangerous, so we have to be careful in this time. We don't know who is on these sites. True, very true. Here's the other truth. Face-to-face dating is also dangerous. We meet someone and they look attractive. Let's go back to that last point. That attractive person that may be nice. So they're easy on the eyes. And they're nice on top of it. So now they're gorgeous. They become beautiful people. Because, for me, beauty comes from the inside out. It's not what you see on the outside. That's pretty. The beauty shines from within. So now you have a beautiful person. But you only know a little bit of them. You don't really know them. And they're serial killers. Not the breakfast cereal. Like, repeated. That kind of serial killer. And you just wonder, oh gee, whatever happened to... No, that was them all along. You just didn't know. And it's the same thing, the same kind of person that you come across on the dating sites. But basically what I'm saying here is you can never be too sure. So, of course, as we look at love and we say all the time, love is blind, love is blind, love is blind. The social context matters as well. Consuming alcohol, for example, really can make everyone, yes, everyone, appear more physically attractive. In fact, there are some people that after you stop drinking, they just become zero fun. But I digress. Research has shown, and this is their research, has shown that love sometimes really is blind. People in romantic relationships, particularly new ones, are biased in how they perceive their partners. They view their partners as more attractive than objective reality. Something called love is blind bias. And I kind of like that. And it seems like that we like people who actually like us. Now, I might be strange in this department because I've come across some people that like me that I really try to avoid. I'm sorry. There was a time in my life and I was another person. But there have been people in my life that liked me that I've avoided. But they say people tend to like people who like us. We like them because they like us. The idea of reciprocal blah 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 reciprocity may sound very simple, but it has incredibly important implications for all relationships. Chat up lines may sound like a bit of fun, but all romantic relationships are built on reciprocal self-disclosure. The mutual exchange of intimate information with a partner. Deciding when and how to describe intimate information to a new partner is an important part of every romantic relationship and can be the difference between an honest, healthy relationship or a closed, stunted one. Two extremes. Also, playing hard to get. Ladies, you're the ones most often that do this. Playing hard to get almost never works. Every now and then it might, but it almost never works. Don't get it twisted. Being too easy doesn't always work either. Giving the impression of dislike is unlikely to spark attraction because it goes against the grain of reciprocity. So don't get caught up too much into that. And lastly, despite what many people think, opposites very rarely attract. In fact, decades of research has shown that attraction is most likely to be sparked when two people perceive themselves as being very similar. But similar how? It could be similarity in terms of socio-demographics. Most relationships are formed between people who are similar in terms of age, or social class, or occupational background. Something they can connect on. But more important than that, socioeconomics is similarity of values. Everything from musical taste to political orientation. We're all motivated to think that our views of the world are right, and when someone disagrees with us, we feel uncomfortable in their presence. But when someone agrees with us, they validate our world views, and as a result, we want continuing contact with that person. So now, knowing all of this, is it possible to predict with any accuracy whether two people will form a stable relationship? I wonder. Probably not, though. One of the difficulties with these sorts of predictions is that relationships are complex and they're often messy also. For a start, relationships are stressful, and stress can sometimes make us behave in strange ways. And we bring baggage into new relationships, whether it is preconceived notions of what a relationship should be like, or our past experience with our previous partners. All of it makes it difficult to know in advance how relationships will actually turn out. But that is also what makes the science of relationships so fascinating. You never quite know what it is that you're going to get into. And that failed relationship may be just what you needed to start the most beautiful relationship you've ever had. We have to take time to know them in our in and out. Their spiritual character, mental behavior. Sometimes people have a lot of negative within them. Some are genuinely lovely and beautiful, but life is a gamble. So be careful. True words. We have to be careful. Here's the thing about gambling, though. Anybody that has gambled, anybody that has played the stock market, anybody that has done investments will tell you, high risk, high return. So you see that person that you are attracted to, but you think that they're out of your league. How are you going to know if you can form a relationship with this person unless you try? It becomes high risk because of your perception of the individual. You think so highly of them now, you have placed them on a kind of pedestal. And you wonder, can I get up there and just touch them, just hold their hand for a little bit even. Or, well, not to say or, but not realizing that the very same place that you put them is the very same place that you stand. You just haven't realized it. So, when you get to the point where you realize that you're just as important, you're just as awesome, you're just as, or probably even more, then you realize that you can reach out and make that connection. There is your high risk. And when you reach out and that person turns around and says, hey, I've been noticing you too, that is your high return. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Yeah, I thought you would agree. So, the whole idea, the whole connecting, don't limit it to your devices. Don't run away from the traditional connecting with someone, sitting down, talking with them, getting to know them. I'm not saying that you can't use what we have now in modern times, especially now with this virus going around. You know, if you want to meet new people now, probably online is the best way to do it. It's definitely safer. The only virus you'll catch then is a virus on your device, and with a good antivirus or good cleaning software, you can take care of that. Now, if it happens to you, it may be a little bit more expensive, but to your devices, it's just a device. So we're going to take another break. When we come back, we get into the adventure. We look at some reasons someone might actually fall in love with you. And it may actually surprise you, some of these reasons, because they surprised me. So, are you ready for an adventure? Or are you ready for the adventure to continue? One of the lighter real talks that we've had in more recent times, it's Real Talk Wednesday. We'll be right back after a couple more messages, yeah? Let's get this message up here and we'll be right back. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com, your links to worship and praise.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.
It's Christina representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the Night Shift Radio Show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew have the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew believing, and that's no doubt. Salute the Night Shift Radio Show, Christina. It's a heart it up, loud. The beast.
Send roses by bottles of champagne. Your favorite, I'm great at keeping a promise. Wrote letters, 10 pages to tell ya I'm in it, I wanna stay. And I'll show you in every way. You're skeptical still, well, I'm loving on you. And I'm super confused how my actions don't convince you. You're skeptical still, so I'll remind you. If I loved you, you know you couldn't mistake it if you tried. If I loved you, you know you'd see it even if you're blind. It's bigger than the world. Take out, stop binging on old films. Get dressed up, we go out. It's hard to make a choice. We're both indecisive. All I know, I'm in it, I wanna stay. And I'll show you in every way. You're skeptical still, well, I'm loving on you. And I'm super confused how my actions don't convince you. You're skeptical still, so I'll remind you. You're not. If I loved you, you know you couldn't mistake it if you tried. If I loved you, you know you'd see it even if you're blind. It's bigger than the world, deeper than the ocean, harder than the sun. Know it when you're alone. So if I love you, you know. Told you I love you, I do. I never told you. I never told you.
I want to welcome you back.
I do. I never told.
I say thanks to Reggae Global Entertainment for sponsoring this segment of the show. Reggae Global takes care of your bookings, your publishing, your copyrights, your trademarks, your legal contracts, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034. Tell them you heard about them on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. In the background, the sound of Royce. If I loved you. If I loved you, you would definitely know. Comment here in the stew pot, and for those tuned in listening in, I invite you to come on, jump into the stew pot. It's where we keep things bubbling. On kevinstew.com, others call it a chat room. We're very fancy over here. It's the stew pot, and it's judgment free. Everything about the night shift is judgment free. Comment here. Everyone wants to be in love, or to love emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. Everyone wants compassion and caring and elevate each other in natural love term relationships, long-term relationships. Woman and man want to feel secure in their relationship. They want to feel security. They don't want to feel fear. So true. But so often we end up fearful. Fearful that we're going to miss out on something. Fearful that whoever it is that we're with is going to hurt us. So what if they do? Really and truly, what if they do? What are you going to do? Is that going to be the end of everything? You're just going to, pack up your marbles and go home? Okay. The person that you perceive to be hurt by is just going to keep on living. So what? But in the midst of it all, yes, we do seek out love, and we all want to find love and have love. And for those that are looking for love, there are actually certain factors that can increase your chances of finding it. And according to various psychological studies, some of those factors might surprise you, like I said before. And they include things like playing hard to get. Things like owning a dog or caring about the environment. The possibilities will, in fact, let me just give them to you. It's easy being green, and I'm referring to environmentally friendly. But only if you're seeking something serious. Did you know that? There's a 2016 study that found that men and women who make eco-friendly purchases are perceived as more desirable for long-term relationships, while those who make luxury purchases are perceived as more physically attractive and more desirable for short-term relationships. The study notes, compared to luxury purchases, eco-friendly purchases were ascribed greater warmth, competence, and good partner traits, but less physical appeal, but they were preferred for long-term, not short-term relationships. Interesting, right? How about this one? If you play hard to get. Now, you just heard me talk about another researcher saying, hey, listen, the playing hard to get thing is not recommended. Well, here you have another one saying, if you play hard to get, you might get lucky. From a 2014 study, they found that men in a speed dating experiment wanted a woman when she played hard to get by acting disinterested in questions. But playing that game made them like her less. It's interesting. So if you desire her more, why would you like her less? This dynamic was only observed in certain situations, though. The men had to feel committed to pursuing the woman. If not, her hard-to-get behavior just made them neither want nor like her. So, ladies, if you want to do that hard-to-get thing, try to understand that you'll be, by yourself. If you display the right facial expression, you might get lucky also. Happiness is generally attractive on women, but not so much so on men. Who knew? In 2011, researchers conducted experiments on more than 1,000 people, showing them photographs of members of the opposite sex and asking them how attractive the people in the photos were. Results showed that men rated women most attractive when they looked happy, and least attractive when they displayed pride. Women, on the other hand, rated men more attractive when they displayed pride and less attractive when they looked happy. Interestingly, shame was ranked pretty attractive in both men and women. I guess it's the compassion that comes out when someone is ashamed. I don't know. But of course, it's very interesting. The studies also show that women prefer familiarity and men prefer novelty. So we may all have a type, quote unquote type. But apparently men are more likely to be attracted to new faces than women are. In one 2014 study, men and women were shown a random series of faces, some of which were repeated. They were then asked to rate their attractiveness, kind of like a photo Tinder. For men, familiar faces were rated as less attractive, even ones just shown twice. For women, the opposite was true, indicating that women preferred familiarity in a romantic partner, whereas men wanted novelty. I guess that would explain why it is the men that are considered to be the ones who will more likely stray. I don't know. They say if you use a lot of hand gestures, you stand a good chance of finding love. Literally, if you fill up physical space around you with hand gestures and an expansive posture, you apparently appear more attractive. In one 2016 study, researchers observed men and women in speed dating sessions, and results showed that people were twice as likely to say they wanted to see their partners again when those partners moved their hands and arms compared to when their partners sat still. For the same study, researchers set up profiles for men and women on a GPS-based dating app, showing them in both expansive and contractive postures. And sure enough, people were selected more often when they were pictured in expansive postures. So, get big, look big. Decades of studies have also shown that the old cliche opposites attract is off. Partners who are similar in broad dispositions, like personality, are more likely to feel the same way in their day-to-day lives. This said Gian Gonzaga, lead author of a study of couples who met on eHarmony. Now, this may make it easier for partners to understand each other, Jan went on to say. The studies generally found that this was true for long-term partners and married couples as opposed to new ones. So the partners who are similar in broad dispositions, like personality, they are more likely to feel the same way in their day-to-day lives. Maybe the opposites they were referring to was, I don't know, opposite sides of the bed? Opposite genders? We know that there is some truth to the opposites attract thing. Because you have to have one person who is more giving than the other. Because the person who is the giver feels better when they give. And the person who likes to receive, having someone who likes to give, they both get happy. The one that loves to give gets joy in giving, and so they feel good when they get to give. And the one who likes receiving gets that joy also because they like to receive things. It's not to say that they don't reciprocate their love. It's just that they do it in different ways. And the ways in which they do it, they just fit. So maybe that is where the opposites attract thing comes in. Because you need one to do what the other likes to receive. One to give what the other likes to receive. According to the work of Canadian psychologist Eric Burney, the best matched couples vibe on 3 different levels. His popular books about the model became bestsellers, namely The Games People Play, which drawing somewhat on Sigmund Freud. His theory argued that every person has 3 ego states. So here it is. There's the parent, the child, the adult. The parent, what you've been taught, the child, what you have felt, and the adult, what you have learned. When 2 people are generally are really compatible, they connect along each tier. Couples therapist Peter Pearson gave a few questions for figuring out compatibility at each level. For the parent, he asked, do you have similar values and beliefs about the world? For the child, do you have fun together? Can you be spontaneous? Do you think your partner is hot? Do you like to travel together? For the adult, does each person think the other is bright? Are you good at solving problems together? How about asking your partner those questions and see how you match up? Let me give you the questions again. As looking at the 3 ways in which couples who work, the most compatible couples, work together. The parents, do you have similar values and beliefs about the world? For the child, do you have fun together? Can you be spontaneous? Do you think your partner is hot? Do you like to travel together? And the adult, does each person think the other is bright? As in smart. Are you good at solving problems together? The 3 ways in which they say people are really compatible. Something to think about. Or I should say something more to think about. Back in 1989, University of Massachusetts psychologist Joan Kellerman asked 72 unacquainted undergrads to pair off and stare into each other's eyes for 2 minutes. Do you think you could do that with a total stranger, just stare into their eyes for 2 minutes? They later reported that they had increased feelings of passionate love and affection toward the other person. This suggests that long periods of eye contact can connect you to someone and even ignite feelings of love inside you for that person that you have never previously met. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Is it because you have entered each other's soul? Why, there's that connection. That was a report in the Scientific American. It's not my report. But is it really that far from realistic? Is it that far from the truth? 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. Let me call me, text me. Let me hear what you have to say. Jump into the stew pot on kevinstew.com. Share your views there. Starting and growing a relationship seems to largely depend on how people attend to one another. After 40 years of studying couples, psychologist John Gottman says it's a matter of bids. As an example, if a bird-loving wife points out to her husband that a goldfinch just landed in a nearby tree, he can, quote-unquote, turn away from her by dismissing the remark, or turn toward her by sharing her enthusiasm. So, bids for attention could play a part in that love connection. As Emily Esfahani Smith reported in The Atlantic, the results of the bids are staggering. In one of Gottman's studies of marriage, couples who divorced after 6 years had the turn toward reply of 33% of the time. And the couples that were still together had turned towards 87% of the time. So their bids for attention being met would really play a part in maintaining that connection. Believe it or not, there was a University of Southern California study of women who were ovulating that suggested some prefer the smell of t-shirts worn by men with high levels of testosterone. So, if you smell right, then you could be a love magnet. This matched with other hormone-based instincts. Some women who were ovulating also preferred men with a strong jawline. So if you got that strong testosterone scent going, and they said human beings don't have pheromones. Yeah, we do, and we're responsive to them. We may not respond to them the same way animals do, as in animals in the wild, because we're animals also. But we got some pheromones. Who knew? Now, you hear people talk about their partners remind them of their parents. Well, University of St. Andrews psychologist David Perrett and his colleagues found that some people are actually attracted to folks with the same hair and eye color of their opposite sex parent. We found that women born to old parents over 30 were less impressed by youth, and men attracted to cues in males' faces and women with young parents under 30. The authors wrote, for men, preferences for female faces were influenced by their mother's age and not their father's age, but only for long-term relationships. So the younger female would have their time, but in the long run, it would have been the older looking female, or the one that was more similar to their mother over a certain age, that did it for them. Things that make you go, I must say that would explain quite a bit. But things that make you go, There was a 2014 experiment where 100 Israeli women read vignettes about men. Whenever the story featured a man who owned a dog, women rated that man as a more suitable long-term partner than one who didn't own a dog. The researchers concluded that owning a pet signals that you're nurturing and capable of making long-term commitments. It can also help you appear more relaxed, approachable, and happy, which would explain why guys walking dogs in parks could potentially get more dates. So if you're not into pet ownership, how does it work? Well, the good news is that simply being seen with a dog can make you seem more dateable. So dog sit every now and then. In one 2008 study, a 20-year-old man approached hundreds of women and asked for their phone numbers. When he had a dog with him, he was much more likely to get some of those numbers. Doesn't that work if you have a baby as a guy? Walking around with a baby. It shows that you're nurturing. It shows that you're caring. Well, I guess it would also show that you have a baby mama. So, maybe not. I take that back. Go with the dog. There was a 2010 study where each patient was given random photographs of strangers mixed with composite images of themselves morphed with those strangers. They were then asked which ones they were more attracted to. Guess what? The participants chose the composites. Now, according to this study, 3 experiments demonstrate that people find others more sexually attractive. In the face, being rated as a composite image based on the self. So, if you are equally or less good looking compared to them, then chances are there'd be some love there. Isn't that interesting? Now, that all depends on how you view being attractive. So, if you see yourself as the most attractive person in the world, will you be able to find that love? Or maybe I should ask, what kind of love would you then find? It's something to think about. But I love what these researchers have found. And it only makes you kind of revisit in your own mind some of the connections that you've had. Some of them that you have lost, some of them that still hang around, though you're not connected in the same way anymore. What was it that connected you to them? What was it that brought you together? Was it any of the things that I mentioned? Was it the pet? Was it the attractiveness? Was it the features like the parent? Was it your worldview? Was it the fact that you are eco-friendly? What was it? Ask yourself the question and honestly answer yourself. If you don't want to answer me, if you don't want to share with everybody else on the night shift, ask yourself and answer that question. And then move on from there. So if you haven't found love yet, then that may give you some insight into how you could possibly find love. If you have found love, it'll be an interesting discussion to have with your partner or partners, as the case may be. 22 minutes to the top. It's musical therapy time.
Smile like the stars that brightens up the night. Hand in my hand, hold me tight. Eyes so deep, like the ocean so mysterious. Boy, you make me feel so damn delirious. 'Cause you're so beautiful, flaws and all. You make every obstacle seem so small.
This is the sound of Tennille.
Joy and laughter, could we
A track called Man You're Beautiful.
after? What else can I say? Then man, you're beautiful. You make the sun come up on a rainy day. You're like the hurricane that blows my cares away. You keep me guessing with every move you make. Everything about you makes my heart quake. 'Cause you're so beautiful, flaws and all. You make every obstacle seem so small. You bring joy and laughter, could we live happy ever after? What else can I say? Then man, you're beautiful.
I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solution for sponsoring this segment of the show. GMAT Music Solution brings your event to life. They have light, sound, stage production services, DJs, bands, musicians, singers. Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622. Let them know you heard about them right here on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
'Cause you're so beautiful, flaws and all. You make every obstacle seem so small. You bring joy and laughter, could we live happy ever after? What else can I say? Then man, you're beautiful. What else can I say? What else can I say? You're beautiful. What else can I say? It's your one, baby. Do as you like. Why don't you please me? Do as you want with me tonight. Have your way with me all night. Carry on, baby. Carry on.
This is Patrice Roberts. Almost said Robinson.
Carry on.
This is a J-Vibe reggae remix. J-Vibe has been busy.
Wind it up.
Patrice Roberts, it's called Carry On.
And when I shake it up, I shake it up, I shake it up, oh, you like that, yeah. And when you bend it up, you bend it up, you bend it up, you bend it up, I like that, yeah. And when you give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, baby, I like that, yeah. And when you give me all of that, and you put it on this spot, I like that. You have me singing 911, emergency. 911, emergency. I don't think I could handle another baby. I don't think you could manage another baby. Nothing else so sweet, boy. She's an ages, just keeping it real, boy. Take control of this tonight. Handle all you need just right. Carry on, baby. Carry on, baby. Carry on. Wind it up.
Love is not just a dream that's built on illusion. It's more than something to feel. You can taste it and touch it, it's real. Life is when two people make it, and nothing outside they can break it. If they understand that they can't command love to be where it cannot be free.
This is the sound of G. Cole. A track called What Love Is.
Love is not just one night of moment of fire.
Yes, this is the same G. Cole.
It's a
South Florida's own, homegrown with G. Cole, host.
That builds on desire. And it can't be bound by a chain. And it be sharing our love forever. Love is a season forever. When two people blend it together. But it cannot go. Let's both of them know. They must give if their love is to live. And this is the kind of love that we know when we share. Girl, this is the kind of love that will always be there. Yes, love is what two people make it. Nothing outside cannot break it. If they understand that they can command love to be where it cannot be free.
Things you say. His rendition of Things You Say You Love. Yep, very same G-Mac sponsoring this segment. More South Florida talents for you. This is King Charles. A track called Juiced from his album Still Searching.
flavor got the sauce on it. Anywhere you wanna go, just say the word and you know I'ma take you there. Oh yeah, you need somebody to remind you. If you feel lost, I will find you. Oh, I just wanna make you mine. So if you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. Yeah. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. Waste no time. Change your life.
This is the sound of Joanna Marie from her album Simply Irresistible.
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew.
Thank you, Joanna Marie. Let's just do this one more time.
One more time. Once is never enough with a man like you. Do that to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you. Kiss me like you just did. Oh baby, do that to me once again. Pass up on me one more time. Once is never enough for my heart to hear. Say it to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you. Squeeze me like you just did. Baby, do that to me once again. Say those words again, like you just did. Oh baby, do that to me once again. Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough with a man like you. Say it to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you. So kiss me, you just did. Oh baby, do that to me once again.
I'm done with your sweet talking. It's time for you to go walking now. Time for you to go. Bye bye. I gave you love and affection.
It's about time for us to get on out of here too.
Deep of my
Thank you each and everyone for joining.
head. Still you show no.
Thank you for your views, your opinions, those who shared them.
How it's been from the start.
As we get out of here, I want to remind you,
So I try to be strong and stand.
look out for members of your community, because your community
And I pray to the
is just about all you have. The members of the community is not just the people that live nearby you. It's not in your community, it's not just the development that you live in. Your community is everywhere that you go. Whether you walk, ride, or drive. You walk, ride, or drive. People you pass on the bus, plane, the boat, the train. These are all members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. In the background, Shauna Dazzle, another South Florida talent. A track called No More Lies.
'Cause I have heard them all before. Don't even try to call me. Come get your luggage from my door. I've got one life to give and I'm gonna give it to someone who'll always be around, yeah. To love, adore, and to take care of me. Make this house a happy home. So go ahead and do whatever makes you happy. I'll no longer wear a frown, no. 'Cause now I finally found someone who really got me. And now I'm ready to settle down, yeah. No more lies or your sad stories.
Shauna Dazzle is also one of the members of SDS, Sensational Dynamic Sound, the dynamic female trio out of South Florida. That's just creating massive waves.
No more, no. No more lies or your sad stories. Boy, I have heard them all before. Don't even try to call me. Come get your luggage from my door. Don't wanna hear from you.
This is IKEA. The track is called Good Man. I'll see if I can squeeze in one more with this one.
He's a true defender, not a pretender. He cares for body, soul.
As we get into the strong end, I want to encourage you to be good. But listen, if you can't be good, go ahead and be good at it. My name is DJ Kevin Studio, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 to midnight, right here on kevinstew.com. This is also how I bounce on out of here. Take care. And listen, come Monday, you're in for another treat. You can Google her. Her name is LaQuanda Faye Jacobs. LaQuanda Faye Jacobs. Google her. She'll be chatting with us on Monday. As we continue looking into incarceration and the wrongful incarcerations. You don't want to miss this one.
He'll be there to lift you up and make you smile when you are down.
But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world, from right here in South Florida. I bid you good night.
Hard to find. is hard to find. The world ain't full of them, so when I get mine, I'm gonna make sure that he's alright. So I'll cook your food, I'll wash your clothes, I'll make sure everything is alright. Oh, I'll be your secretary when you need me. You only have to call. A good man is hard to find. The world ain't full of them, so when I get mine, I'm gonna make sure that he's alright. A good man is hard to find. The world ain't full of them, so when I get mine, I'm gonna make sure that he's alright.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.